Okay, now we're on page 46 of our workbook, and we're looking at markup and discount problems. So these are really helpful just to have it laid out as a formula, but these you've probably done in your head. You kind of can just go to the store, if you got to pay like 10% more, you can kind of judge what that is. So you're hopefully a little familiar with how this works. We're just putting it in a systematic formula. So we're taking S being the selling price, so we're giving it a standard letter for this one. C is the cost, original cost, so we're not confused with like which is which, the new one, the old one. So we're going to call S is the selling price, C is the original plus the cost, or the original cost to make the item, and then cost is time multiplied by the markup rate. So whenever you're selling something, you need to charge more for it in order to make a profit. So the markup is a percentage and should be converted to a decimal all the time in this formula. So think of it that way. So you've probably done those, like amount equals percent times the base. So this is just your percentage times your cost. It's going to be a dollar amount. It'll come out to be. The manager of a store buys a product for $46. So example 4.6. If the markup rate is 24%, what is the selling price? Be sure to round your answer to the nearest cent. So usually you're told how to round in a lot of problems, but if you're not, just general rule of thumb is to go out to places, especially for money problems. Sometimes we'll say do the nearest dollar. So just make sure and interpret the problem too, because if it's something where you need to have enough, you'll need to round up or something like that. So pay attention to the context on how to round. So for this one, our rule is like declare your unknown, write the variable. So on here we can say part A is what is the selling price. So we are trying to find the S. So we can just write find S. We don't have to say let S equal the selling price, but we could say that, but it's standard for this formula. Then we're going to write the formula because we're given a formula. So we would just write S equals C plus RC. Now, I know it's right there, but as you move on and you have things all mixed up together, we're not sure, which one you're pulling from. And there's different forms of different things. So you have to tell the reader which one you're using. Okay, for full points, you have to have a formula down there. Tell me which one. If you're using it for multiple problems in a row, you can just kind of draw an arrow. That's fine too, especially if it's like a long one. But these are short. Just get them down. Then for part B, we also actually have this piece we're going to put in here that S is our unknown. C is the cost to the store is $46. And then R was our 24%. So we're going to write that as 0.24. Okay, so it's 0.24, and then C again is 46. Now you could just multiply it by the 46 by 1.24. That would probably work out too, because that would definitely work out too. If you know that shortcut, you can do that, because this is really like 1C. So 100% plus 24% more would be 1.24 times C. So sometimes problems are done that way too. And if you want to vary that a little bit, that's okay. As long as you track what you're doing and you're real clear. but this book does it a little differently, so we're going to follow the book. So then we end up with S equals 46 plus 11.04. And then when we add that on, I'm just going to kind of draw a little line up here so it fits. We get 57.04. And so part D, we would write out what that actually is, and we would say the selling price is 57. Let's look at the $4.04, and that's it. Now for 4.7, the cost to a distributor for a product is $43. So again, we have that is our C. You can kind of track these things as you read through. The distributor sells the product for $47 to his customers. So that's the selling price. So that's going to be our S. What is the markup rate? So that's what we're trying to find is R. So we can put a little question. Make sure that once you find it as a decimal that you convert it to a percent, okay? And you would round. So go out 3 places and round off in the end. So we're going to use that same formula, but we're finding R. So we're going to write it like this. And you can pause this and just try it on your own and check back, but I'm going to work through it. So we have R equals question mark, right? Then I have my formula, same thing. Whoops. Okay, then I'm going to fill that all in with my numbers. 47 equals 43 plus R times 43, or actually we could just write 43R. Now we do have to follow our order of operations, so don't be tempted to try to add those together. And then we're going to solve. So we would get, we're just going to subtract 43 from both sides, and we get 4 equals 43R. And then divide by 43. Remember, we are looking usually a decimal because it should be less than 100% markup, but you never know. So we get R is going to equal 0.09302. So remember, it said to round out to the 3 places, right? So I would get rid of these. So I would have 0.093. So I would round to the nearest 0.09. And then go 2 places right and add my percent symbol. So my answer for part D is there is a 9% markup rate. Because remember, we want to track like what did we end up with, and is it what we set out to do? Does it match this? Did we figure out the markup rate? Okay. So that's the answer for that, should be 9%. Now, example 4.8, I want you to just read through that and see if you can figure out how that lays out. I kind of alluded to it up here a little bit. So pause and try. Okay, so we have the distributor sells a product for $83 to his customers. So that is S. His markup rate is 11%, so R equals 0.11. What is the cost of the product? So C equals question mark, right? Be sure to round to the nearest cent. So I filled this in. Our formula is S equals C plus RC. That actually goes with part B. Should fix that. So we just match. A is find cost, or just C equals question mark. We can write that because it's a standard formula. Then we have part C is solving. Actually, write that down here. Now, think of it this way. This is a 1, right? 100% of C plus 11% of C. So all together, we have 1.11 C when we combine our like terms. So sometimes that throws people off. So remember, if there's no number there, no coefficient, it's always a coefficient of 1. And then we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 1.11. And we end up with C equals 74.77. And then don't forget to write your sentence and just say the production cost is $74.77. And that's the answer for example 4.8, which hopefully you were able to follow along with classwork and do it on your own and are getting this. But if not, again, write the question in the comments of your submission box, or just email me right away. Like when you're doing this, you can even just pause, send me a note. Okay, now discount formulas, they work just the same way, except the R is the regular cost of the item, like in the store, not what the store bought it for wholesale. And then we are taking off that. So again, it's like kind of like you go to the store and you're like, oh, they're marking it down, right? So I get 10% off. If it's $100, I'm going to pay $90, right? So you're probably a little bit familiar with this kind of thing. The same rules apply for the percentage. Should be a decimal when you're using it in the formula. So this first one, a product sells at a regular price of $145, so you can mark that as R, which is on sale. So our sale price is going to be 65% off of the regular price. So our R is 0.65, and remember, it's in the formula that you subtract, but if it weren't, just think you're discounting, so that would be a negative. Find the sale price. So we're trying to figure out S. So part A is S equals question mark, right? Same kind of thing as same sale price. B, we're going to write our formula that we're using. S equals R minus little r, capital R. So these are case sensitive, so be careful of that. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug in the values. S I don't know, so I just leave it as S. R I was given as 145. Little r is given as 0.65. And big R again is 145. Then I go ahead and calculate this. If you crunch the numbers on that, you get 94.25. Okay, so I have S equals 145 minus 94.25, which comes out to be $50.75. So I'm going to write my sentence over here. This was part C. D, I would just say the sale price is $50.75. Now I didn't ask you about tax or anything like that. We're going to assume it's like we're in Oregon, right? So that's the idea with that. The next one here, 4.10, we have the sale price of a product is $23, where the regular price is $95. Okay, so we have our S, we have our R, capital R. What is the discount rate? So this time we're trying to find little r. Okay, and then make sure you round that. So it's very similar to what we did before. We just have a subtract in there instead. So just be careful of that with your negatives and doing your algebra. So I'm going to leave this one for classwork. So pause, and then you can check your result, and I'll work through it like really quickly. Set it up, but then I'll do the algebra with you really quickly. Okay, so I've plugged the values in here, and now I'm going to do the math. Subtract 95 from both sides. Don't worry that it comes out negative. We expect that. And we would have negative 72 equals negative 95r. So now we take care of that negative here, because you know you shouldn't have a negative weight. It's kind of built into how we wrote the problem, that our r will come out positive even though it is a decrease. But we had the negative RD as part of our formula, so that's why this negative situation is happening, but they'll become negative over a negative is positive, so it works out. And so we end up getting R equals 0.757, so on and so forth. So we're going to round. Anytime we round, put that approximation symbol, so it'll be about 0.76 or 76%. So we can just write that in our final piece if we want. So part D would say the discount rate is 76%. Okay. Now for the last one of this video set is, or video section, there's one more piece, one more section for the whole set. Example 4.11, the sale price of a product is $120. So that is going to be my S. That's 25% off, so R equals 0.25. Find the regular price, so that's my unknown. So A, R equals question mark. B, you can fill in your formula, same one, because it's off the regular price, so it's a discount. And then we're going to plug in our values. 120 equals R minus what was it, 0.25 R, okay, or 0.25, same thing, but to be making it look better, remember this is like a 1, so then we're going to go ahead and have it be equal to 120 equals 0.75 R this time, because we're subtracting, so we're only paying 75% of the price. Right, so that's another way of thinking of it. And then we can divide both sides by 0.75, and we get R equals 160. So our final answer here for our sentence is the regular price was $160. Do make sure that you have your symbol, or you can actually write out the word dollars. That's up to you. Maybe I'll do it this one that way. $160. Just so you see that both can work. All right, so that's it for this video section 4.2. Have a great day. I'll get 4.3 up there shortly.